Hi everyone. It's been on my heart for quite a while to share with you some of the visions I received from Jesus. And by visions, I don't mean now experiences with Jesus or like visitations in heaven or something like that. I mean prophecies and messages and descriptions I received about um, things that's gonna take place in the future in my life or in this country or in this world. So these are visions of plans of Jesus, and he has shown me some of his plans and some of his desires in the most various areas, and in some of these visions are not really related to me. Like, I don't think that I'm gonna take part in making them come true, because they are so far off and not really my field or not even my interest. But I'm really happy that they are gonna happen, and I'm really excited about them. It's really great to hear Jesus talk about like future things and his desires about different areas of society, and how he's gonna break through and what he would like to see happen. Um, in some of these visions, I can see myself like playing a part. Um, in most of them, I can see myself playing very little part. But there is one among these visions that is very close to me, and that's what I would like to talk about now. And this is a vision of a retreat house. Um, I couldn't name it any other way. Let's use the name I received, School of Intimacy. Um, and I can see a property somewhere outside of the city, or not in, at least in the suburban area. Um, so I can see kind of like a castle or a huge mansion with a lot of flats in it, a lot of rooms, and with a huge park, a beautiful, very well maintained park and garden. And there was a time when I saw this beautiful castle like place, and all the colors were beautiful, and people were like skipping and dancing and playing silly games on the grass, and it was like very unrealistic. Like, it was so ideal and so beautiful. Like, I asked Jesus, like, is it heaven? Like, with all this fountain and beautiful trees and plants and people being that childish and that silly and that free and joyful. And he said, no, I'm gonna see that happen on the earth. And you're gonna see that happen while on the earth. And I was like, okay, like, what's that? And and he's been talking about a generation for quite a while, a generation that lives a life completely surrendered to Jesus, but I mean to Jesus, to his person, not to, you know, mm, do missions or fulfill the destiny or do great things. I can see a generation who is submitted to Jesus just for him, just to know him. I could see a bunch of people who love Jesus for him, and who gave up their lives not for a kingdom purpose, but for himself. And I know that it sounds a bit weird to make this distinction, his things and himself, but there is a distinction. And I really love when people do great stuff for Jesus, and I know that when you live in intimacy with Jesus, then you are automatically feel led to do things, and it automatically comes out of you that you want to do stuff for him and for the kingdom. But I can see in the charismatic church that we are so obsessed with making things happen, making revival happen, and evangelize everyone, that we don't even know how to experience Jesus and how to enjoy him. And I know that this place is gonna be just about that. There's gonna be a whole community based on experiencing Jesus for yourself and for your community. I can see people having their own flats and rooms and spending hours, sometimes months, without talking to anyone, just focusing on their relationship with Jesus. And I could see that this community practices the presence together a lot. I could see constant worship there, um, worship with all means. Like, I can see that creativity just bursts out of this place because the people don't want to accomplish anything. They just want to express their love and express their worship to Jesus. So they just create whatever they feel like to. I can see different genres and of art combined and doing um, collaboration and I can see different fields of art entwined, and I can see weird products of art, like uh, art that no one has ever seen before, because these people won't have the pressure of being relevant or fulfilling their destiny or evangelize everyone. They all they do is expressing love, and it's so free, and it liberates them so much that they can experiment, that they can try out things no one else have ever dared to try. So I can see crazy stuff, crazy art coming from this place. I can also imagine people living here like their whole life. I could see people not marrying at all, like in a monastery, and just spending their whole lives uh, on experiencing Jesus and discovering the depths of the relationship with Jesus. But I don't think that it's going to be a strict thing. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of rules or regulations of how to pray and how long to pray and how much time to spend in heaven and how much time to spend in silence and so on. I don't even think that the main issue is going to be staying unmarried or anything like that. I think this community will resemble a bit of the monasteries, but it's not about like, let's do that again, or let's try to make the community of the early church or the community of the monasteries of the medieval times. No, it's not about this going back in time. It's about going so deep in a personal and corporate experience of Jesus that the world has never ever seen before. And I believe it's possible. And the reason why I believe it's possible, because Jesus keeps telling me that he's longing for this place. And I know that you can live a life with Jesus in the center while living a completely normal life, with kids and family and career. And I know it's possible. I don't question it. All I know is that Jesus is longing for a place that is specifically devoted to him and to the experience of him and to loving him. And some people will be like owners and maintainers, and they're gonna live there. But I also think that there's gonna be a bit of fluctuation. Like people uh, will come there just for a year or for a few years or for a few days. For example, people will devote their gap years uh, to be with Jesus and learn about his presence there. And people starting missions or going on mission trips, uh, or before getting married, they're gonna devote some time on Jesus on in this place. And I think there's gonna be some trainings there, like a few days or a few weeks trainings. But I don't really think that it's gonna be about like making events. I don't think it's gonna be an event company in this retreat center. I think the training gonna is going to be automatic on that place. So people come there, and by being there, they are getting trained. So they partake in the community worship, they partake in the maintenance of the garden, uh, they um, they are forced to stay in silence with Jesus when everyone else is in their rooms and seek God on their own. And they need to learn these realities of experiencing Jesus just because they are there. And I know that there's gonna be such a presence of God there, and I think there's gonna be an amazing atmosphere because there's gonna be this continuous attention to Jesus, both individually and corporately. And I think just coming close to these mansions gonna cause great changes in people, and living there is gonna be always a testimony. Like I've been there, can you see? Like people who will live there any amount of time, they won't be different. They won't be the same again. And I'm so sure of that. I think it's gonna have a huge garden, and I can imagine that they grow fruits and vegetables just like the monasteries, and they have this community work. I can also imagine people living completely normal lives, like being CAOs at a company, or doing high tech work, and they would live there and do their works from this place. So I think it's going to be completely compatible with the 21st century society. It's going to be absolutely out of it and absolutely in it, just as Jesus said. It's like I could imagine people like living there with their families and doing normal secular jobs and spending all their other times and all their attention on seeking the depths of Jesus. So I can't wait to see that happen. The only way I can see this happen right now is in the hearts of people when I get to meet people who have this interest and this attitude. Um, I'm so sure that Jesus is worthy of such a place. Um, we we do things for many purposes in the charismatic stream. I think it's gonna be just for him and just to love him because he's worthy to be loved that abundantly. And people gonna waste a lot on Jesus, waste their whole lives on Jesus. And this whole place gonna be in itself a worship. Just the place is gonna be worship. Not just we will worship there, but the way that it is completely devoted to love him. I think it's gonna be actually a place to allow people to love Jesus. So the place in itself is gonna be an expression of worship. Yeah, I can't wait to see that happen. Now, this happens in the hearts of people. So this is a spiritual place, this retreat house, this school of intimacy. But I know that this place is gonna be manifested in the physical. So as we are getting more aware of his presence, as we are falling more in love with Jesus, it cannot help but be manifested in the natural world. So this place gonna exist. And it's gonna happen automatically as the people have this heart, like the heart of Jesus is worthy just because. This purposeless worship, um, this enjoyment of God without any particular reason. I, 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 I really long to see that happen. At this point, this vision happens in a very, very small form of 1 or 2, 3 days retreats where we devote our time to seek Jesus on our own and together, and we experiment a lot. Like we try to go into corporate visions and we wait on God in silence. We practice contemplative prayer. We just we just experiment with things. We don't take ourselves too seriously in that. We just try to find ways to sense more of him, and we know that it's possible to experience him in a way that no one has ever seen. So we just focus on that in our private lives, but when we get together, we do that together, and it's so much fun. And we spend days in worship and we do that. um, there's no membership, no restrictions, nothing nailed down. I don't even want that to happen. It's likened to the monastery only in a sense of centering our lives around the presence, but in no other way we would like to bring back the early church or the monastery community life. Um, that's what Jesus has shown me, and I know he's gonna do that. And I'm so excited to meet people who have similar um, passions and who have this vision already written on their hearts. Um, yeah, I know that Jesus is worthy to have this place, to where we can experience him in that depth. And I think this place is gonna be simply a platform to love Jesus. That's it. If you have any thoughts on that, or any ideas, or if it brings up any revelations God has given you, or if it stirs you up or gives you ideas, or not all of the vision is given to me, so maybe you will have parts of it, and you will receive some practical sides of this. I would really love to hear it. So please write in the comment section, or write in a personal message. I'm really interested in what this vision stirs up in you. Um, and I really hope that some of you watching this are gonna be part of um, this this community. God bless you guys. Love you all.